Do you know how everyone gets those warm, fuzzy feelings deep inside when they think about dystopian futures and humanity's inevitable spiral out of control? Well, it seems like Nintendo have really embraced the idea and gone full apocalypse in their latest Kirby game. And like the total non-shill that I am, if it's good for Nintendo, it's good for me. Today we're going to embrace a frankly terrifying future and look at it through the lens of that little scamp, Kirby. So I started by gluing some thick cardboard to a balsa wood base, which would serve as the central support for our crumbling skyscraper. After giving this base a lick of paint using black acrylic, I then drew out the basic shape of the skyscraper I wanted onto a cardboard box. And yes, that is a HelloFresh box. This video is not sponsored by HelloFresh, but future videos could be. Give me a call, HelloFresh. We can talk. After attaching some more structure details using more balsa wood, I then turned to the age-old staple in all hobbycraft, papier-mâché. This would give it the kind of concrete effect I was after. This too got a coat of black paint and a light spraying with a grey primer. Then I dry brushed it with the lighter shade of grey to make the details pop. After magically inserting a window off camera, it was time to give our skyscraper some grime. And what post-apocalypse would be complete without some overgrown foliage? So using some air-dry clay, I got the basic body of the greenery down. After painting it, well, green, it occurred to me that the back of the diorama was, well, a bit boring. And as everyone knows, trees are super exciting. Then it was time to start detailing the roof. So using some more cardboard, I decided to make one of those air vent extractor fan type thingies. And I thought it would be good if it looked like just a cross section of an air vent. And as a bonus, that meant I'd only have to build half of it. With those details out of the way, it was time to get back to our foliage. I wanted to have a go at using green flocking, the kind you always see on model railways. Turns out this stuff's not so easy to use. But with that battle out of the way, it was time to make the ground for the base. And I wanted this ground to look like it had a mix of dirt and concrete rubble just all mixed together. So I mixed up some coarse sand, acrylic paint and PVA glue, and then slapped it on. Then it was time to turn my attention to the main man himself. Now you'd think making a Kirby out of polymer clay would be easy, right? He's just a ball with stubby appendages. Wrong. Turns out making a smooth sphere in clay is damn hard. But after spending many hours, or at least one, trying to shape this thing, I got something that was almost round, close enough at least. Then our friend north of the border came out with this.
Once I'm happy with the roundness, it's time to introduce a cup. Now the trick here is getting a cup that is slightly smaller than the circumference of the widest point of the sphere, then gently rolling the ball around in the cup, allowing the edge of the cup to remove any of the excess clay. Eventually, you should end up with a pretty smooth, almost perfect sphere, which should make the finish sanding that much easier.
After my blinding rage subsided, I went to work on Kirby's stubby appendages, which I'm pleased to say were a lot easier to do. Now you may be asking, why didn't he just paint on the eyes? Would it have been a lot easier if I had done so? Absolutely. Would I paint them on if I was to do it again? Yes. So why then didn't I? I'm glad you asked. I thought it would look good. Once the eyes were almost done, I covered them over with some liquid masking and then grabbed out the old airbrush. So I'm just fine misting some acrylic paint on here to try and give the impression of some light and shadow. Then after very satisfyingly peeling the masking off, I added some more highlights to the eyes using an acrylic paint pen, and then used some pastels to again just add some more light and shadow to the body. I finally put on some red acrylic paint onto his little booties, made his eyes all shiny like with UV resin, and then Kirby was done. Then all that was left to do was to add a few more details to the diorama, spray it with a matte varnish to seal it all in, and it could come off of the workbench to go into the lightbox. Thank you for watching me stumble through another project. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd really appreciate you hitting that like button and consider subscribing to my channel.